Hello and welcome to our weekly power session. Today I have Catherine Langman, who is an award-winning business owner with extensive professional experience in product development, brand communications, digital design, online marketing and advertising, and works with product-based businesses and e-commerce businesses. Catherine is a business coach and mentor, and she helps her clients achieve massive growth in their own businesses. So welcome, Catherine.
Hello, thank you for having me.
Thank you for joining us today. So you're in where are you, in Adelaide?
Not yet. No,
Not yet.
Sydney at the moment.
Oh, okay, all right. Well, welcome. So, today, the reason why, I wanted you to come onto the power session today is we do have a lot of mums in our community who are both product and service-based businesses, but majority of them are online. Majority of them are building online businesses or some sort of, even from a service base where they're doing one-to-one, they're building some sort of digital product. So it's going to be, a great insight for them to hear this power session today. And so thank you. So our power session today is Productpreneur's six-figure sales formula. And this is quite timely leading into Christmas.
Yes, everybody wants to have bumper sales in Christmas.
Absolutely. So we are obviously waiting in anticipation to hear 5, great points and tips for us to be able to get geared up for Christmas.
Yes, great. So I guess some of what I'm going to talk you through is quicker to implement than other things, but certainly each of these 5 steps that I will talk you through are things particularly for, any online business really, but I guess I work mainly with the product-based businesses, so e-commerce websites, and they're definitely the sorts of things that need to be continually worked on, and it's having that consistency, I guess, as you keep going. So shall I start with point number 1? Shall I jump straight in?
Go for it.
So probably the first step that I talk about is something that gets talked about a little bit around abouts, and that is all about finding your tribe. And you probably hear terms like customer avatar or buyer profiles and things like that, but something that I often find is a bit of a sticking point, particularly with new product-based businesses or new e-commerce websites, and particularly also if it's people who are designing and making their own products, but it's equally as much of a consideration for people who are retailing other people's brands. And that is, who are you selling to? And sometimes I think we start our businesses and we think, oh yeah, I know exactly who I'm selling to, and we just get going, and we don't really sit down and concisely define who that is. And what can then happen is that our promotions and our communications, the way that we write, the way that we show our images or take our photographs and that sort of thing, can be a bit hit and miss, and it's not really specifically targeted to our ideal customer. So and I guess something that can happen then is when our content's not really consistently appealing to our ideal customer, is that it's not very engaging and it doesn't really kind of pull those customers into us. And, the end result of that is that it's very hard to make sales, so it can be kind of like it can kickstart almost like a bit of an ongoing series of issues, you're sort of not making any sales, and then, you resort to discounting, or you resort to bringing in other products, or trying to make content and promotions to appeal to a wider audience. And that just kind of compounds the issue and makes it even worse. So the first thing that I really talk to my clients about, and e-commerce business owners, is really defining who is your tribe and how do you find them. And really understanding that, the moral of the story is that not everybody is going to be obsessed with you, and that's totally fine. I guess once you understand that and you define who it is that you really do want to serve, then you can start really making content and images and words and promotions and even down to what you put on social media that is really, really attention grabbing and engaging and valuable for your ideal customer. So that's kind of really the first step. And, you know, I say to people, you are allowed to choose your customers. You don't have to serve everyone. Obviously, we're not looking for a cookie cutter customer here. It's, you know, everybody is different, but what are the unique characteristics of the people that are your ideal customer?
I think one of the kind of things that I've come across, and maybe this is just the service-based businesses, but I'm sure it also it has come across in products as well, is that when someone is selling, let's just say 3 or 4 different products that do have a different client, and so when they start their business and someone's like, find your tribe or they think that they need to have one for the whole business, but some businesses, like I said, the product's actually catered for different audiences. Do you come across that, and do you actually kind of, you know, do kind of separate, you know, tribe or avatars for the 2 service offerings or 2 product offerings? Or
well, what I often find is that actually it's not always a completely different audience. It's often that a different service or a product offering might appeal to the same customer, but at different stages in their customer journey. So what I like to do is to work on that find your tribe exercise for the point in time or the product or service that most people would come in with first. So you can, like, absolutely, you can create these kind of customer avatars for the other situations later on, but to kind of get started, I think it's really important to go, okay, well, what product or service are people coming in for the most first?
So the main offering,
that's right. Let's create a profile around that. And oftentimes when you do this exercise, you actually work out, well, actually that customer, you know, they buy this sort of product first, and then after a while they come back and they buy this product or service or this product or service. So there's a little bit of a journey, you know, over time. And when you can kind of understand that journey, you can actually help drive it a little bit as well, which kind of comes into one of my later steps.
Okay, great, fantastic. Okay.
So that one's kind of like the first step, and I know a lot of people do talk about that step or that exercise. And I guess, you know, just to highlight again, one of the big reasons why it's really important to do is to make the rest of these steps really effective is to understand about that ideal customer. What is it that they are buying? Because it's never the product. People don't buy a drill, they buy a hole in the wall, you know. What is it that is their problem or their pain point or their need to begin with? And what is the outcome that they're looking for? So that's a really big part about, you know, defining who your tribe is to understand those things. It's not about, you know, if they're 21 years old and they live in Sydney and they, you know, the demographic side of things. It's more about the psychographics or the emotional side of things that we really want to understand. And I guess in addition to that, what information do they really need to know to make a purchase decision? So once we've got those kind of steps or those understandings down pat, we can move on to step number 2 in my formula, call it that, my 6-figure formula, and that is to try and become a customer magnet rather than a salesperson. So this is, you know, something that's pretty common with a lot of e-commerce websites is you go to the website and, you know, a pop-up will come up and it's got like 20% off if you sign up to my email list, and you know, the messaging is very buy now, buy now, buy now. And what I encourage people to, you know, the business owners to do is to take a little bit of a step back and stop pushing for the order straight out of the gate. Because a lot of people that visit your website, they're not ready to buy yet, right? And chasing your customers with those discounts and buy now messages can be a little bit off-putting. And I say to people, it's like, you know, when you start dating, you know, you need to go out for coffee first and you have to develop a bit of a relationship first. You don't go straight for the jugular. So what I talk about and what I teach is to create a welcome gift that is not just a discount, to encourage people to sign up to your email list. And I mean, there's 2 reasons why we want to do this. The first is when we're talking about e-commerce websites, only about 2 to 3% of your website visitors will actually go on and buy straight away. So you've got a huge number of visitors coming to your website that you don't want to lose. You know, they're obviously already interested because they've come to your website. So we want to invite them onto our email list so that we can continue, you know, having a conversation with them and continue marketing to them over time. But can we do that in a way that is not a discount or a buy now type message? So, and I guess the second reason why I talk about creating a bit of a welcome gift that is not a discount is that it can be the first step towards helping that website visitor to make a purchase decision. So a welcome gift, some people call it a lead magnet, you know, that's the kind of jargon term for it. Yeah. But a welcome gift could be like a guide, it could be a sample if you're big enough to afford that, it could be a digital item like an email course or a video tutorial or a challenge or a checklist. I mean, there's loads of different examples. I have to say there's actually a whole lot less examples for e-commerce businesses for these kinds of value first welcome gifts than you know, coaches and service businesses and whatever. But they work incredibly well. So one of my students, she's an e-commerce retailer, and she used to have just a 10% off offer for her opt-in, and she was quite reluctant to change it, you know, because it was working, and you know, she was getting people onto her list. She wasn't like rolling in it, you know, she was a very small business to begin with. But after she added I'm just trying to remember what it was. I think it was a sleep guide. So the 5, you know, it's aimed at babies and young children. It's 5 ways to guarantee a good night's sleep or something like that. And she actually combined it with a financial incentive, but she made it a gift voucher so that it was special and gift-like. And she, like, the number of people opting into her email list absolutely took off. Yeah. So, you know, I really, really highly recommend that people try and think about something that feels like it's, you know, a valuable gift to the customer or the potential customer, but is also a really, importantly, it's like the first step towards making a purchase decision. Yeah,
perfect. Yeah, I think in our community we call it freebies, whether it's service, and I suppose it's for non-technical. You know, we have technical and we have non-technical mums in the online industry, and freebies tends to be a lot easier for them to connect with. And then obviously from the technical side, it's opt-ins or lead magnets. So for me, it's whatever works in terms of a name, but like you say, it's valuable, free, valuable information. And it's got to be free.
It's got to be free. And the one thing that I would just add there is if people could please stop saying the word newsletter, because I don't think anybody wakes up in the morning and thinks, oh, wow, I really need to get some more email newsletters in my inbox. You know, it just doesn't happen. And you know, a lot of e-commerce businesses in particular, they still talk about sending out newsletters. And of course, you want to send out newsletters. I'm not saying you don't do it. It's just don't call it that.
Well, I mean, I'm the same as you. You know, if anyone that's, you know, say can have a look at my website, the first thing I'm saying is like, why do you have a newsletter box? Like a sign-up box? It's like, change that. And you know, I don't have one on my website. I never had one on my website. It doesn't work. And it just doesn't work. And I think you've also got to put yourself in your customer's shoes and think, your inbox is full every day. Are you going to read a newsletter? You will read something that it's got, you know, you're going to get something from. Like it's got something for you that's for free, you know. So I totally agree with you. You know, newsletters versus lead magnet, like there's no comparison there. It's just the way it is now.
It is. Yeah. Yes. All right, so that's the step number 2. And step number 3 is, what are you going to do with those email addresses, you know, next? And so I tell a little bit of a story sometimes. Actually, I might move on to that story in the next step. But okay, so, you know, what is the number one job that your website has to do? Obviously, it's to make sales if you're in e-commerce, or leads if you're, you know, a service provider. So if you are collecting these email addresses by giving away your freebie or your opt-in gift, whatever you want to call it, what are you going to do with those email addresses next? Are you just going to pop them on that email newsletter list and get around to sending them an email every now and then whenever you find the time, which is what a lot of people do, particularly in e-commerce? And what I say is that, you know, in order to convert that sale, well, first of all, when they do come to your website and they join your email list, that's when they are the warmest lead. You know, they are the most interested and most likely to convert within that first 30 days. So you can't just add them onto your email list until you get around to doing a newsletter. You know, our goal is to move these people from "I've just found out about you" to "yes, I'm buying this product right now." Yeah. So what we need to do is to follow up with them and make them an offer they can't refuse.
Yeah.
Yes. So the step number 3 is to craft a high converting follow-up email campaign.
Yeah.
I have a bit of a formula for this that makes it a little bit easier for people to know what to put in it.
Yeah.
And I suggest that there should be 3 emails in this campaign, because you don't want to just follow up with people once. That's probably not enough. You know, usually people need to have contact with a brand a few times before they're likely to make a purchase. Mm-hmm. So the other thing that I include in these 3 emails is you want the content to appeal to the main kind of buying psychology. Like, what are the motivations for why people buy anything, really? Yeah. So the first email, I call it a gain theme, and basically this email is tailored towards the kind of person who is motivated to achieve a goal. So not everybody is like that. Some people need a big stick to get them somewhere, but you know, if you're motivated to move towards achieving a goal, then this email usually would appeal to you. So in this email, you would share a secret based on your own personal story, or maybe, you know, a case study of a customer. And you want to really give them the story around what product, need, or desire that your product provides a solution for, by telling them how it did that for you. And then you want to make them an offer to buy a product. And so in this campaign, so there's 3 emails, you want to offer them the same product to buy in each 3 emails. You're not changing it. You know, the whole point of follow-up is to sort of, you know, emphasize and reinforce. And what I would say is that whatever you're asking them to buy should make sense based on the freebie that you just gave them. So what is the next logical step, you know? So you offer them a product to buy, and then a few days later, maybe 3 to 5 days later, you would send out a second email. And you can kind of set these up as well. In most email marketing programs, you can set it up so that the emails will stop if they actually make a purchase.
Yeah.
If you don't make a purchase from that first one, the second one will go out, and this one has a logic thing. Now, most people don't make buying decisions based on logic. We usually purchase based on emotion, but logic is useful to just reinforce a purchase decision that they've maybe made after the first email, but they just haven't gone ahead and bought yet. And apparently there are a very small percentage of the population who do make purchase decisions based on logic. So it's good to sandwich this email in the middle. Mm-hmm. And basically, it's just about sharing some facts and figures and a logical argument about why the best solution to their problem is to buy your product.
Yeah.
And of course, you make them that offer again. So you present your product and click through to the website and you can buy it here kind of thing. And then the third email is the fear of missing out. So scarcity is always a motivator. If you do combine some kind of financial incentive with your welcome gift, like the client I was telling you about before who has the guide plus the $10 gift voucher. So the third email, you can emphasize scarcity, your coupon's about to run out. But if you don't have a financial incentive, you can kind of phrase this like, how soon would you like to experience blah, 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 remind them about the desired result that they want, and again, link them back to your shop page.
Yeah, perfect.
Yeah, so, and I guess the aim of this campaign is to increase the number of customers who buy from you. Mm-hmm. So later on, we will increase the frequency of orders.
Yeah.
Customers buy from you, and also the order value. But this campaign is just to convert them in the first place into a customer.
Perfect.
Yeah. So in your community, in your experience, do you see people actively following up with their new subscribers in a similar way to this?
Yes, definitely within, I suppose, the more experienced coaching community. We've got a couple of marketing coaches in our community too, definitely. But I would say where it is lacking is actually in the product base, so not service, but the product-based industry.
Yeah.
I only because when someone joins a community, I kind of go onto their website, and because I'm like that, and put my email address in and have a look around, because I mean that's the best way for me to understand how I can help them, or how my membership can help them. So I definitely think it's something that it actually used to be, that sort of gain logic fear used to be at a kind of business. When I say business, I want to say corporate marketing level, but in the last 6-7 years, those marketing consultants have gone out and set up businesses, and it's now filtrating into the entrepreneur community, and actually allowing people to know that they can do it themselves, and you don't have to have Nike's budget, and it does work, and I know that I use it, so it works.
Just to highlight how well this works for e-commerce specifically, because I think it is quite a new strategy for a lot of e-commerce business owners. The client that I was telling you about before, when she created the new welcome gift or opt-in freebie, she increased her email opt-ins by about double per month.
Yeah.
But her new sales went up 10 times. So it made a really, really big difference combining those two strategies for her.
That's brilliant. No, and I know it works because I use it, and it's converting. So, and I've been using it for a long time, and I haven't changed it. So obviously it works. So that's brilliant. Thank you.
Yeah. So let's move on to my fourth step, which I will begin by just telling a really quick story, if I may. And the story goes, so you meet a cool lady briefly at a dinner party, and she seems nice, maybe a potential friend, someone to hang with, and it could be great. She asks for your phone number and email addresses and promises to get into touch and set up a coffee date or something. And you're thinking, cool, new friend, we could have movie marathons, go shopping, pedicures. But then months go by and you don't hear from her. She doesn't ring, not even a friendly text, nothing. And then after a year, since you handed her your email address, or you wake up one morning and all of a sudden there's this bizarre list of urgent requests in your email inbox. I'm moving, can you help me pack? I'm getting married, can you be my maid of honor? Oh, can I get a ride to the airport? It kind of goes on, and you sort of think, what's going on here? You're not really feeling the love, you don't feel like she's your friend, you feel like she just wants to get something from you, and you sort of think, well, I don't even know who you are, we're not really friends yet. And so if
just a really weird vibe.
It's a really weird vibe, and you sort of think, there was an unsubscribe button at the bottom of these annoying emails, I'd be clicking it pretty fast, goodbye. Of course, you would never behave like that bad girlfriend to one of your friends. You've got way better manners and more common sense. And yet a lot of business owners, they behave like bad girlfriends to their customers and their subscribers. And, it's not that people mean to be like this, but, what happens is that, we collect people's email addresses, we pop them onto a mailing list, and then we never get around to writing. We don't get around to sending a newsletter, or we write really boring generic stuff that's kind of really uninspiring and unengaging. Or a bad girlfriend business owner might promise the moon and the stars, and new products, new promotions, and then fail to deliver on any of that. They may go silent for months at the time, and then they just barge back with 5 billion new offerings, and they focus exclusively on what they can get, but don't really consider what their customers actually want. And, and what I say is that bad girlfriend business owners, they're not bad people, and they don't mean to be like this. It's just that, sometimes life gets in the way, and we like I said, we don't mean to, it just kind of happens. So what we need to do is to be able to show up consistently and, provide that kind of consistent experience for the customer. So it's kind of bringing it back to customer experience. And how can you provide a really amazing customer experience to your customers, not just when they first come to your website and you're trying to woo them and get them to buy from you the first time, but on an ongoing basis. You know, you don't want to sort of send your order off and forget about them.
Yeah.
Which is very easy to do, you know, especially when...
Oh, it happens all the time.
No, like we're mumpreneurs, we're just running the business ourselves and we don't have a lot of help, and it's time consuming and life gets in the way. So we don't mean to do these things. It's just, so how can we provide that really amazing customer experience for our people when they first come to us, while they're making a decision, when they buy, and then after they buy.
Yeah.
So, which is kind of really an introduction to my last step, which is being able to put an automated campaign around providing an amazing experience for your customer and getting them to buy again.
Yeah. Perfect.
So, shall I just launch straight into that?
Go for it.
All right. So the fifth step is how to sell more to happy customers. So first of all, we have to make sure that we have happy customers. And what I will say is that it's, you know, really spending the time to provide that, or figure out how you can provide that really amazing customer experience and ensure that your customers are happy and they're using your product successfully and they're enjoying it and all that kind of stuff. It helps, you know, to build customer loyalty, and a loyal customer base becomes a repeat customers, and they also refer you to their family and friends. Yeah. An increase in customer loyalty by just 5% can actually potentially increase your profitability by up to 95%, because you don't have to keep spending money to get your existing customers again. You know, you don't have to keep advertising or doing discounts or doing trade shows or whatever the case may be. Once they're your customer, you just look after them, you know?
Yeah.
So what I like to do is to create this, it's a fairly long automated email campaign. It's got up to 9 emails in it, which sounds like a lot, but they're not long emails. It's just, you know, how do you kind of put an automated campaign around making sure that your customer is happy with their order, they're using it correctly, they don't have any questions. You know, you want to invite those questions to come back. You want to invite them to join you on social media, of course. You want to
find out if they want anything else.
Well, that's right. But I like to make sure that they're happy
first. Yeah, absolutely.
Yeah, and then ask them to buy something else. And when you get to the asking them to buy something else bit, what you can do is to make them an offer to buy whatever makes sense after they've bought the first thing. So you can actually set up tailored upsell or cross-sell campaigns. I hope I'm not getting too techie here, but say somebody buys a particular product the first time, do they normally come back and buy the same thing again? Or do they normally come back and buy something, you know, a different product category that's maybe complementary to that?
Yeah. You
can set this up in advance so that it just runs on autopilot and it makes them the right offer at the right time.
Yeah.
And again, I'm doing that in a 3-part email campaign. So the game logic there.
Yeah. That's brilliant. Thank you so much. I mean, those five steps, not even tips, but 5 steps I know they work. And so, you know, what you're doing is absolutely fantastic, and their businesses should be booming or on the way, which is great. And, you know, you've just got a lot of it is, I suppose, the information or the content that you're putting in the emails. It is a lot of try and testing, and they are formulas, but at the same time, it's still got to come from you, and it's got to come from like your heart and your, you know, what your mission and your message is, because, you know, anyone else can give you a formula and that's fantastic, but you still got to put your own signature in there, like your own scent.
Yes, definitely. Yeah.
That's beautiful. That's perfect.
A lot of people do struggle with, you know, they say, oh, I'm not a good writer and things like that. And I guess I just want to encourage people to just get some words down and start, because you don't have to be a great writer with this stuff. You know, you're communicating with people who probably also feel the same about their own writing abilities, you know, and it's just a human touch. So
absolutely,
so long as it's coming fairly uniquely from yourself and from your brand, I think it goes over pretty well.
Perfect. That's brilliant. That is so much information, and that is way more than I thought we were we were going to get. So thank you so much. I'm never going to say no. Brilliant. So, our whole community, like I said, it's all about moms supporting moms, and I thank you so much for coming and supporting us and being able to provide this value to our community. And I'll obviously be sharing this everywhere, so they get this message and they can start making the changes in their business, and if they have any questions, they'll be in contact with you.
Yeah, sure. I can, if you like, I can give you a PDF guide version of what I've just done.
That would be brilliant.
Here as well, and yeah, I'd be very happy to jump in the group and answer questions too.
That's brilliant. Thank you so much, and have a wonderful day.
Thank you.
Bye.